In the extreme Arctic environment, fire is not just a convenience, it is a fundamental necessity for survival. The Inuit have relied on fire for centuries to provide warmth, cook food, and ensure their safety in one of the harshest climates on Earth. Unlike in milder regions, where fire is often used for comfort or recreation, in the Arctic, it serves as the primary source of heat in freezing temperatures. Fire allows the Inuit to melt ice for drinking water, dry wet clothing, and prepare food, making it an essential part of daily life. Archaeological discoveries reveal that some Inuit settlements maintained the same fire pits for multiple generations, with evidence suggesting that certain sites housed continuous fires for over 50 generations. This long-term use of fire pits highlights the ingenuity and resourcefulness of the Inuit, who developed efficient methods to preserve and sustain their fires despite challenging conditions. Their ability to keep a fire going, even in extreme cold, heavy winds, and wet environments, is a testament to their deep understanding of fire-making and survival techniques, knowledge that has been passed down for centuries. The Inuit have developed a deep understanding of natural fire-starting materials, carefully selecting substances that can ignite and sustain a fire even in damp and freezing conditions. These materials are chosen for their ability to catch fire quickly, burn efficiently, and remain usable despite exposure to moisture. One of the most reliable fire-starting materials is fatwood, a type of pine wood that is rich in natural resin. This resin acts as a highly flammable fuel, allowing the wood to ignite even when wet. Due to its high energy content, fatwood produces a steady and strong flame, making it a valuable resource in harsh conditions. Certain types of moss and lichen also serve as excellent tinder. The Inuit specifically look for old man's beard, a fibrous lichen that remains dry on the inside even when exposed to moisture. Over generations, they have identified more than a dozen species of moss and lichen with different burning properties, ensuring they always have a reliable fire-starting material. Another essential resource is birch bark. It contains a natural compound called betulin, which makes it highly flammable even when damp. Its thin, papery layers catch fire easily with just a small spark. Instead of peeling bark from living trees, the Inuit carefully collect pieces that are naturally shedding, preserving the forest while still obtaining what they need. To keep these materials dry and ready for use, they store them in waterproof pouches made from sealskin. These pouches protect the tinder from moisture, ensuring that even in the worst conditions, fire starting is still possible. The careful selection and preservation of fire-starting materials are rooted in sustainable practices. The Inuit take only what is necessary, gathering fallen fatwood and dried moss without disturbing their natural environments. This respect for the land and its resources allows them to maintain a constant and dependable supply of fire-starting materials, passing this knowledge down through generations. The Inuit have mastered several fire-starting techniques that allow them to create flames even in challenging weather conditions. Over generations, they have refined methods that rely on natural materials, careful technique, and strategic body positioning to shield the fire from wind and rain. One of the most effective methods is the use of flint and steel. The Inuit rely on a specific type of dark gray flint, which, when struck against a hardened steel striker, produces sparks hot enough to ignite tinder. These strikers are traditionally work-hardened over time, increasing their durability and efficiency. Tests have shown that the sparks generated from this method can reach temperatures of over 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, allowing ignition even in damp environments. To catch and sustain these sparks, the Inuit use charred cloth, a material that has been partially burned in a controlled way to create a surface that easily ignites. This cloth is kept dry in waterproof sealskin pouches, ensuring that it remains effective regardless of the weather. In earlier times, before fabric was widely available, they created similar fire-catching materials using dried and pounded moss, forming a tinder that was both lightweight and highly flammable. Since fire starting often needs to be done in challenging conditions, body positioning plays a crucial role in protecting the flame. The Inuit create a dry workspace by using their traditional parkas as a shield, forming a pocket of protection against rain or wind. If possible, they seek natural shelters such as rock overhangs or build small windbreaks to improve their chances of success. Fire starting in wet or stormy conditions requires not just the right materials, but also an understanding of how to work efficiently within the environment. By carefully positioning themselves and their tools, using high-quality natural tinders, and relying on proven techniques, the Inuit have ensured their ability to create fire in even the harshest of circumstances. The Inuit have also mastered friction-based fire-starting methods, particularly the bow drill, which allows them to generate fire without relying on metal tools. This method requires precise technique, the right choice of materials, and an understanding of how to protect the fire-starting process from the elements. The bow drill setup consists of a flexible bow, often made from caribou rib or a sturdy piece of wood, a spindle shaped like a pencil, and a hearthboard with small notches to collect the ember. A handhold, sometimes made from bone or stone, is used to stabilize the spindle while the bow is drawn back and forth, creating friction against the hearthboard. Wood selection is critical for success. The Inuit pair a softer wood for the hearthboard, such as cedar, with a harder wood for the spindle, like birch. This combination produces the right level of heat through friction, increasing the chances of generating an ember. Scientific studies have shown that this pairing can create friction temperatures of up to 800 degrees Fahrenheit, enough to ignite fine tinder. The technique involves a steady, controlled sawing motion with the bow, ensuring that the spindle rotates smoothly against the hearthboard. Applying the right amount of pressure and maintaining a consistent speed are key to producing a hot ember efficiently. Since fire starting often takes place in extreme weather conditions, the Inuit use their bodies to create a dry workspace. By positioning themselves strategically, they block wind and precipitation, ensuring that the ember remains protected until it can be transferred to a tinder bundle. With experience and proper technique, an Inuit fire starter can produce a glowing ember in under 90 seconds, even in damp conditions. This skill, passed down through generations, demonstrates the ingenuity and adaptability of the Inuit in surviving and thriving in one of the harshest climates on Earth. Starting a fire is only the first challenge in the Arctic. Keeping it burning in rain and strong winds requires careful planning and adaptation. The Inuit have developed effective techniques to protect their fires from the elements, ensuring they remain a reliable source of warmth and survival. The first step is selecting the right location. Whenever possible, the Inuit seek out natural windbreaks, such as rock formations, dense tree clusters, or sheltered valleys. These natural barriers help reduce wind speed and protect the fire from sudden gusts that could extinguish it. When natural shelters are unavailable, they construct artificial windbreaks using available materials. In winter, they build protective walls out of packed snow, while in warmer months, they stack stones in a horseshoe formation, positioning the opening away from the wind. These structures create a stable environment where a fire can burn with minimal interference. The fire pit itself is designed with efficiency in mind. By digging a shallow depression and slightly deepening one side, the Inuit create a pressure differential that helps control airflow. This technique prevents strong winds from blowing directly through the fire while allowing enough oxygen to maintain combustion. Drainage channels are sometimes added around the fire pit to prevent rainwater from pooling and extinguishing the flames. The arrangement of firewood also plays a critical role. Rather than placing logs randomly, the Inuit use a spoke-like pattern, positioning logs with their thick ends pointing outward. As each piece burns, it is gradually pushed toward the center, allowing the fire to sustain itself with minimal effort. This method not only conserves fuel, but also ensures a steady and controlled burn. To protect the fire from rain, the Inuit construct simple but effective rain shields. Large pieces of birch bark, animal hides, or even stacked logs are positioned at an angle over the fire, directing water away while allowing smoke to escape. The angle is carefully adjusted to prevent the shield from catching too much wind while still providing sufficient coverage. Through these combined techniques, the Inuit are able to maintain fires even in the most challenging conditions. Their understanding of wind patterns, fire behavior, and environmental adaptation allows them to create stable, long-lasting fires that serve as a vital source of heat and security in the Arctic. Keeping a fire burning efficiently in harsh Arctic conditions requires more than just fuel. It demands careful layering, strategic wood placement, and constant monitoring. The Inuit have perfected these techniques to ensure their fires burn steadily, providing warmth and protection even in unpredictable weather. The process begins with proper layering. Small, dry twigs are used first, forming a base that catches fire easily. Once a stable flame is established, slightly larger sticks are added, followed by thicker logs. This gradual layering allows the fire to build heat steadily without smothering the flames. To improve airflow, sticks are placed at slight angles, creating small pockets that allow oxygen to circulate. helping the fire burn efficiently. Wood placement is another key factor in maintaining a long-lasting fire. Instead of piling logs randomly, the Inuit arrange them in a star pattern, with the ends meeting at the center. As the fire consumes the wood, the logs are pushed inward, ensuring a continuous and controlled burn. This technique maximizes fuel efficiency while reducing the need for constant adjustments. In strong winds, maintaining a fire requires additional strategy. The Inuit adjust the positioning of logs and choose fuel types that burn steadily under varying conditions. Hardwoods, which produce longer-lasting coals, are often preferred when facing extended exposure to wind and cold. Additionally, they build small protective barriers around the fire to help stabilize the flames without cutting off oxygen flow. Temperature control is essential, especially when the fire is used for multiple purposes. By managing different heat zones, the Inuit create areas of intense heat for cooking while maintaining lower temperature sections for drying wood or warming hands. This careful regulation prevents wasteful fuel consumption while ensuring that the fire meets specific needs. Reading the smoke is another skill passed down through generations. By observing how the smoke moves, the Inuit can predict shifts in wind direction and even changes in the weather. If smoke begins swirling in irregular patterns or hugging the ground, it can indicate an incoming storm or an increase in humidity. Recognizing these signs allows for quick adjustments, such as reinforcing windbreaks or repositioning firewood to maintain stability. Through these refined techniques, the Inuit ensure that their fires burn efficiently and consistently, even in the most challenging conditions. Their deep understanding of fire behavior, combined with generations of experience, allows them to adapt to their environment and maintain a reliable source of heat and survival. Keeping a fire alive throughout the night is crucial for survival in the Arctic. Without proper maintenance, temperatures can drop rapidly, putting anyone without a heat source at risk. The Inuit have developed effective techniques to ensure that their fires continue burning overnight with minimal fuel consumption and effort. One of the most important methods is banking coals, a technique that preserves heat for extended periods. By burying hot embers under a layer of ashes and partially burned logs, the Inuit create what can be described as a heat vault. This method slows down combustion, allowing the fire to smolder rather than burn out completely. In the morning, all it takes is a small amount of oxygen and fresh tinder to reignite the flames. To maintain a steady burn without constantly adding fuel, the Inuit use sustainable burn patterns. Instead of cutting wood into short pieces, they arrange long logs in a radial pattern around the fire. As the logs burn, they are gradually pushed inward, keeping the fire going without requiring frequent adjustments. This technique allows for consistent heat output while conserving energy and resources. Even with these methods in place, fire maintenance requires attention, especially in extremely cold conditions. During temperature drops, the Inuit make small adjustments to the fire every 20 minutes, ensuring that it does not die out or become too weak to sustain itself. These minor corrections help prevent the need for a complete restart, which would be significantly more difficult in freezing temperatures. Fire reading is another skill that plays a crucial role in overnight fire maintenance. The Inuit observe subtle changes in the fire's color, intensity, and smoke patterns to determine when adjustments are needed. A strong, steady glow in the coals indicates a well-maintained fire, while dimming embers signal the need for more oxygen or additional fuel. By combining these techniques, the Inuit can keep a fire burning through the night with minimal effort, ensuring warmth and safety until morning. Their knowledge of fire behavior, gained through centuries of experience, allows them to adapt and maintain a reliable heat source, even in the most challenging conditions. For the Inuit, fire making is more than just a survival skill. It is an art form that reflects patience, resourcefulness, and a deep connection to the natural world. Their approach to fire is rooted in both practical knowledge and cultural wisdom, viewing it as something that must be nurtured and maintained, much like a living entity. Fire is not simply ignited and left unattended. It requires careful tending, adjustments, and an understanding of how it interacts with its surroundings. This philosophy is reflected in Inuit teachings, where fire-making is seen as a test of patience, skill, and awareness. Children are taught from an early age to respect fire, recognizing its importance not just for warmth and cooking, but for overall survival in extreme environments. Traditional Inuit wisdom includes sayings that highlight the significance of fire in daily life. One such belief is that fire gives twice, once when it is created and again when it is properly maintained. This idea emphasizes the ongoing responsibility of keeping a fire alive rather than treating it as something that can be neglected once started. When compared to modern camping techniques, Inuit fire-making methods often prove to be more efficient and sustainable. While many rely on lighters, synthetic fire starters, and manufactured fuels, the Inuit have mastered the ability to create and sustain fires using only natural materials, even in wet and windy conditions. Their methods are not only reliable, but also highly resource-efficient, allowing fires to burn longer with minimal fuel consumption. Beyond fire-making itself, these survival lessons extend to a broader philosophy of living in harmony with nature. The Inuit demonstrate that success in harsh conditions comes not from overpowering the environment, but from understanding and working with it. Their techniques, passed down through generations, serve as a testament to human resilience, ingenuity, and adaptability.